All right, so today we're going to be looking at exercise 5A. So we're going to be starting on algebra this next couple of weeks. So we're going to start off with the language of algebra. This is the learning intention and success criteria. So let me just write that here, exercise 5A, and it's language of algebra. So I'll give you guys a minute just to write this down in your bound reference books, please. So the learning intention for today is to understand the basic terminology of algebra. So what that means is the different languages that they're going to be using and how to write expressions from word descriptions. So using those different keywords and what those mean in terms of symbols and operations. The success criteria is I can state coefficients of pronumerals and create expressions from descriptions. So the two main things are you're going to find the different numbers that are linked with letters, and then you're also going to create the actual expression. So what it means to it look like with numbers and letters together. So we'll move on. We'll do this together at another time. But the boundary reference for today is we have the description of the different terminologies. So you just need to learn these different words and what they mean. So firstly, we have pronumerals or variables. We're generally going to be using pronumerals as the in our terminology in the book, but it also means variables because you can actually change different things. It says the letters that represent one or more numbers. So a pronumeral can be any number unless you give it a number. So for example, if I say X, X can be any number until you actually say what number it is. So it can be 1, it could be 10, it could be 5,000, it could be 156 million, right? But until you give it a number, it can just be any number at all. The expression right here is the numbers and with operations. So we have the numbers right here and right here as well, and then the operation is what connects them together. So the plus is the operation. Okay. A term is part of an expression. So 9a, 10cd, those are different terms. Notice how we have the 9a. 9a actually means 9 times a. And right here, 10cd, it means 10 times c times d. So those are different things that you need to know what it means. Under here, coefficient means the number in front of the pronumeral. So when we were looking at these previous example, these 9a and 10cd, the coefficient of here, the 9a would be the 9, and the coefficient of the 10cd would be the 10, okay? Because those are the numbers that's in front of the pronumerals or the letters. And then, lastly, we have constant term does not contain any variables or any pronumerals. So for example, 5 is always just going to be 5. It's constant. Whereas you have 5x, if you have 5x, x can be any number. So that means it can actually change to, let's say, 5 times 1, or 5 times 2, or 5 times 100. It can change. Whereas, so I'll get rid of that, 5 is just always 5. Okay? The different conventions that you need to know is that, so from here, a times b is written as ab. A divided by b is written as a over b. So it actually should be a over b. Okay, that's how you're going to be seeing it. And then lastly, a times a is going to be a squared. Because we did this in chapter 1, we said that 3 times 3 is the same as saying 3 squared. Okay, that's the example. Now the next themes here is the maths operation terms. So you need to know that sum means it's going to be plus, Difference is going to be minus. So if you find the difference of something, it means minus that. If you have the product of something, you're going to times that. Quotient of something means you're going to divide it, or it's going to look like, these ones are going to look AB, or this is going to look like A over B. And then the square of something, of course, you're squaring that. So I'll just pause here for, let's say, about 2 minutes to get all of these in. Make sure that this is all in your bound reference, because these are going to be important to access the rest of algebra. Beautiful. All right, let's move on to the worked examples here. We shouldn't have too many because they're just going to be identifying different terms. So the I do here, it says to list the individual terms in the expression. So the individual terms that we have are effectively each one of these parts of the expression, and you just need to look at what is in front. Okay, what are the different signs? So on this we can break it up like this. Actually, this is one term, that's one term, that's one term, and that's one term right there. So it's basically the different parts. So it's saying 4a is a term, b is a term. Here we have negative, okay? So negative 12c is a term, and then 5 is a term as well. All right. It has, in the expression below, state the coefficients. So if we remember, coefficients mean what are the numbers that is in front of the letters. So for A, we have right here, that is A, that means A, it's 4. With B, what's in front of B? There's nothing in front of B, but what we assume is, if there is nothing in front, it's actually a 1, okay? Because it's saying like 1 times B is equal to 1B, and 1B is still the same as saying B, okay? So you don't write the full, you don't write 1B all the time, so that's part of the conventions, or just the way that you write things. So it'll be B is equal to 1. This is where people get tricked, so don't make the same mistake. Right here with a C, okay, you have C is negative 12. So that's what's in front of the 12, okay? You need to consider the whole thing as a block, just like it was on here, okay? So negative 12. And then for D, if you notice, there is no letter D around. So if there's no letter D, it's just saying 0. Because D times 0, or actually we go the other way, 0 times D is equal to 0. There's nothing there, okay? 0 times anything is equal to 0. So we'll do the we do together. Still the same different skills. I'm going to block it off just so then we can easily identify. There it is. So the different terms that we have are 3x, y, 4, and negative 12z, okay? And then so we're looking at the different coefficients down here. Coefficient for x, so what's in front of the x? It is a 3. What's in front of the y? We imagine that there's a 1. And what is in front of the z? We know, and we have to consider and include this negative 12, so it'll be negative 12, okay? So just take a pause here, and then if you guys can do the you do for me as well. Give you guys a minute to do that. Wonderful. All right, so what it should look like is this. Let's block it off one more time. Block, 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 block. So it's identifying all the different terms. So the different terms that we have is 5x, 8y, minus 6, and minus 14z. Okay? And then down here, it's still the same expression. So what's the number in front of x? It is 5, so right here. What's the number in front of y? It's 8, so right here. What's the number in front of z? Z, it is negative 14. Okay, so don't forget what is in front. All right. So just tick that if you got it right. Otherwise, please correct it in your bound reference. We'll move on to the next and the last set of worked examples. Oh, nope. There are actually a little bit more. My bad. This is still identifying terms. So we'll go straight to the we do's right here for the sake of time. So on here, what is the constant term? So remember, constant term means the number without any variables or without any pronumerals. So this has a pronumeral, so it's not that. This has a pronumeral, so not that. This does not have a pronumeral, and this also does not have a. This also has a pronumeral, so it's not that. So the constant term is 4, okay? Because there are no pronumerals or there's no letters attached to it. The next question on here is state the coefficient of y in the expression. So we need to look at y and y by itself. So here there's an xy, so we don't look at that because there's an x there as well. With this, there's no y even, so it's just x, so we don't look at that. This, it could be it. And this, it's not this because there is that squared there, so we don't actually look at that. So what is the coefficient for the letter y? It is 6, okay? There is a number 6 in front. So again, I'll give you guys a minute to do the you do for me, please. All right, so let's go through what you should have had for your you do. So the constant term, not this because we have a pronumeral, so the x, not this. We have the y as a pronumeral, could be this because there's no pronumerals and there's no letters, not that either. So this is, I hope this is something that you guys considered as well, that there is that negative in front. So the constant term is actually negative 10, okay? So you need to consider what is, you have to use it as a whole block, okay? So consider that as a whole block. So it'll be negative 10. The next part is state the coefficient of y in the expression. So it's not this because there's xy, not this because there's an x. It could be this because there's a y, and it's not that because there's this y squared, okay? So not that. So what is in front? Again, don't get caught out on this. It's negative 5, okay? Awesome. All right, so correct those mistakes if you have them. Otherwise, give yourself a tick. So we'll move on now to the last worked examples. Last worked examples that we have are, we're going to create expressions from your descriptions. So the key for this one here is you need to make sure that you know what the keyword is for the different operations. So on here, I'll highlight it. So the first part, it says the sum of 4 and m. So the keyword here is sum. And if we go back to the top right here, we said, okay, what is sum? Sum is up there. Sum means it's going to plus. So if we're going to sum them together, it's going to be, whoops. If we sum them together, it's going to be 4 plus m. Okay. Next one is the product. We'll just go back up. The product. Product means that we are going to times them together. Okay. So on here, it's going to be z times 3, or it's actually going to be 3z. Generally, you put the letter in front of the pronumeral. Okay. And then the last one that we have is the difference. Oh, okay. So this is actually two operations that's happening. The difference of D and half of E. Okay. So when we look at the difference, let's go up here. What does difference mean? Difference of A and B means A minus B. Okay. So that means on here, the difference of D and half of E means it's going to be D minus half of E. Now, you can write it in two ways. You can either do half E, like that, or you can write it as D minus E over 2 because you're still halving it. Either way is fine. It's correct. Whichever makes more sense to you, but they're both correct. Okay. We'll go with the we do together in this one because generally it takes a little while for people to understand the expressions. So again, the sum means it's going to actually, I'll do this so that we understand. Sum means plus, so it'll be Q plus 3. Next, product. Product means times. So here it's going to be 10 times T, or it's going to be 10T. And then the last one is difference. Difference is minus. And then we also have half. And half, of course, you know, is 1 over 2. All right. So the way you write it is F minus half M, or you can write F minus M over 2, either or. So I'll give you guys a minute to do the you-dos for me, please, and then I will go through the answers. So this is the last set. Writing expression for the sum. We know that the sum right here is going to be a plus. So it'll be 2 plus R. We have product. The product of L and 4. Product means times. So it'll be L times 4. Or it's going to be 4L. And then lastly, we have the difference of N and half of P. So it'll be difference is minus and half. So it'll be N minus half of P, or N minus P on 2. Okay. Wonderful. So make sure that you have these in your bound reference notes, please. Tomorrow we will be doing a working lesson. Have a good class. Thank you very much.